Hi everyone, this is Rue Stewart. This is the fourth episode of the Upfront with Rue Stewart podcast. I wanted to leave a short podcast about. My first podcast was in reference to I went to a conference and the woman who was speaking had, she kept talking about white supremacy and whiteness and if that makes you feel uncomfortable. And I left a podcast about how I don't think that's those are political talking points and not really solving these problems, which definitely are uh, everywhere, but that doesn't, those are just talking points. And I wanted to talk about some of the reasons why that makes me feel uncomfortable, not in a defensive way, because of course, my color of my skin is white, but I'm a human being and I'm part of one big family, everyone here, and I wanted to share about, you know, some of the things that have been occurring the last 7 years after some of the police um, things that went wrong. That one of them, the critical race theory. I have looked at that and read some 28-page law review article about it and this or that. And I one of the things I get out of it is just teaching that people are maybe people whose color of their skins are white or oppressors and other people and maybe marginalized groups like African Americans or other people of color are oppressed. And that bothers me, not because the color of my skin is white. It bothers me because, in a larger reason, because of my life experiences. And my life experience, I'm not African American. My color of my skin is not brown. And I'm sure there are challenges. There are challenges for every single one of us, different challenges. I don't have challenges. I mean, I'm sure I don't have any challenges. Wouldn't know what that is. But I do know some things. I'll tell you what some of the things I know. I do know that, just because the color of my skin's white, I'm not out here hop, skipping, and jumping with all these privileges and all these doors are open to me and I'm just skipping in and not really having a problem. I go to job interviews, I just get it because I'm white, or I got into college or law school just because I was white, and all those things. And I think especially young kids, to teach kids that. First of all, I've been listening to Martin Luther King since I was a little kid, and I got goosebumps when I was 8 years old listening to him, and I still get goosebumps, and I still what he preached or what he said, resonates with me. It's about we're all equal. It's all about fairness, and yes, it's about everybody. And judge people on the basis of their character, not on the color of their skin. That's where my heart is. And going into a little bit deeper here with, oppressors, oppressed. Somehow what bothers me about that is you're positioning somebody in a space where they feel that they could feel that they were a victim or that they've been wronged. And I'm an addict. I'll be honest with you. Part of being an addict for me is a victim mentality, that a sense of entitlement, all these character defects that don't work. And lots of people have all kinds of addictions to cope with life, just to deal with the way their inner workings are, and that sense of entitlement and being a victim in the drop of a dime, that stuff doesn't work. So to put that upon anyone, I don't care how old you are, but especially kids, that you're a victim or that you're oppressed, that's not the right mindset to have. That, if anything's enslaving. Shackles thicker than anyone could ever put on anybody, whatever the color of your skin is. Having a mindset that you're a victim is the worst kind of shackles or enslavement anyone could ever think they were. I mean, I'm a lawyer and I have my own law practice, and I've had it for 12 years, and I have a lot of other wonderful opportunities in my life right now. I'm going to the Harvard Extension School, and it's really lights me up inside, and I'm doing things that I feel called to do from what I feel my faith is calling me to do. But I want to explain a couple of little things. I think some other people need to hear this too. So You know, of course, the color of my skin is white, but I've had lots of challenges in my life. And, you know, I went to college. Maybe some people need to hear this that maybe think that it'd be hard for them to get to college because of the color of their skin is brown, or anybody who's a person of color who somehow wants to, our society, our government wants to push upon people and divide us all by dividing us. And lots of the mindset would be that, you know, you're been wronged, that you're a victim, you're oppressed and everything. But so maybe let me say a couple of things. So I went to college. When I went to college, I went to college because I went to high school and I took college prep classes, and I have strengths and weaknesses. I sure can't. You don't want me to work on your car, and you probably wouldn't want me to hang pictures in your house. But I like to read and things like that. So I went to college prep. There were a lot of African American people in my classes. I played sports with people. We were, we were all in class together. Some of my best friends were all African American, still are. So we're all in class together. I went to college. You know, you know, I didn't get into college because of the color of my skin. Lots of people there were African American, and you know, then I had a car accident, and then I had lots of challenges in my life. I had a head injury, and then I sort of had mental health problems, and then I got in trouble with the law, and then I ended up being a fifth-year junior on academic probation and having all kinds of problems. And then I got incarcerated, and I was in jail, and I was in the hospital for the criminally insane, and I went through a lot of stuff. And then I finally went back to school from a blue van from Jessup, where all the prisons are, and the hospital for the criminally insane is. And I went back into the city and took the bus, 8 bus up through the inner city up to the school, and went back to school, and I ended up going from being on academic probation to actually graduating with honors. My last 60 credits were 3.8 something. You know why? Not because of the color of my skin is white. It's because I had grown up and I was a lot more mature, and really it was the most important thing to me. I was still incarcerated at the beginning, and then I was at a halfway house, and it was very important to me. I focused on it, and that's why I did a lot better, and I grew up. So, and then I wanted to go to law school. Man, we all should be able to pursue our dreams, things that our faith has put inside of us. So I wanted to go to law school. Well, I didn't get into law school because of the color of my skin. I'll tell you exactly what happened. So I applied to law school. I had done better when I went back to school, but I got put on the waiting list. I didn't really know what that meant. So, so I guess I didn't get in. I didn't pursue it any further. I didn't get in. So, but I had some people in my life at that time who really, really helped me. One guy was saying, and a lot of life is working for things that you want. And I used to just show up for things. When I first applied to law school, there's the LSAT test you take, and I was doing some practice tests, and I was at the halfway house, and I did, did pretty good on them, I thought. There was probably 34 questions, and I got maybe 24 out of 26 right. But I wasn't realizing that there's 34 questions, and just because I got 24 out of 26 right before the time ran out, that's not really good. But my mindset, this is part of me growing up, and I'm still growing up even though I'm 55. But I used to just show up for things. So I would just show up for things. And that's a character defect. That doesn't work, especially when you want more things in life as you get older. So, I didn't do that well on the LSAT test, and I didn't get in. But then I had people in my life that I spoke to, and they were saying, well, you got to work for things that you want in life. So I worked very hard to get into law school. I was still at this halfway house, and I was working a job, and I took a Princeton review class. The first time I took a review class, but it was a long bus ride there, and after a class or two, I didn't feel like I was getting anything out of it, so I just stopped. But after I didn't get in, and I talked to some people, and they're really putting upon me that you have to work for things that you really want. I took this Princeton review class, and they had like a little hub center, like a little office. I lived there. I went there for work, after work, and I just took the test so many times, and my problem was I would spend too much time on questions. So I had a little stopwatch with me, and I did a lot better. I went and took the test again, and I did a lot better, and then actually took the test again because I was enjoying applying myself and doing better. So actually, and then actually all that hard work I was doing, I was thinking, you know what, I'm gonna go to law school somewhere. I don't care where I go to law school at. So I applied to the University of Baltimore where I had applied before, and I even applied to a law school that was easier to get into. You know, I was going to go to law school somewhere because I had put so much into it that my vision was to be a lawyer, and I was following my faith, and I was going to follow through with that. So I actually got into both law schools and went to the University of Baltimore, and you know, I did pretty well in law school, and a lot of things happened, and you know, I passed the bar exam. I didn't pass the bar exam because of the color of my skin. I actually didn't pass it the first time, and then I didn't pass it the second time. Actually, I passed it the third time. So I'll explain about me growing up in that process too. So first time I took it, I did pass one part, the multiple choice part, and the other part, the writing part, I didn't pass. In law school, you could just throw up on the piece of paper and you would get points. But throwing up on the bar exam and putting legal issues out there didn't go over that well. And I was just trying to do it all by myself. You know, I was at law school, I sort of studied my own little way, and I did pretty good. It worked. And then I was studying that way for the bar exam, and you know, I guess part of it worked and part of it didn't work. And the second time, I just sort of isolated and worked all by myself and just did that. And you know, the color of my skin is still white. I still haven't passed the bar exam. But the third time, I sort of fell back on my faith, and I was like, hey, you know, I can do all things through God that strengthens me. I need to pass the bar exam. I don't care if I'm working at Burger King. I want to be a licensed Maryland attorney. So I sort of fell back on my faith, and I prayed all day long. If I could pray, I was praying. And, you know, nothing magical happened. I didn't get more smart from me doing that. What exactly happened was, over time, my mind changed, and I was willing to accept studying a different way that I wasn't willing to accept before. I was just closed-minded, hard-headed. I was going to do it my way, but I ended up being like, somehow just like, okay. So I took this class, and all they did was a writing portion. That's all we did. We took the test over and over again, the writing portion. And you would think that it was these old guys. They were like, the people judging these bar exam are lawyers and judges late at night. They don't want to see a whole bunch of nonsense. So they actually taught us how to write real short sentences. And all we did was to do that over and over and over again. And actually, I barely studied the multiple choice section. And I passed. And it wasn't the color of my skin. I just keep growing up in life, and I keep opening my mind and doing good things. I mean, new things, and I keep relying upon my faith. So, and I have my own law firm today, and I have my own law firm for 12 years. Do I have my own law firm because of the color of my skin? No, I don't have my own law firm because of the color of my skin. I have my own law firm because, you know, an opportunity opened up for me getting laid off and me walking around asking people for a job, and someone was willing to give me an office for free for a couple months and slide me some cases, and that was a God thing. And 12 years later, I'm still doing it, and I keep hanging in there, and I keep relying upon my faith. And there's lots of African American friends of mine that have law firms, and they're doing very well and are very successful. So some people need to hear that. I mean, if you watch too much news, or if you get bent sideways, you can think that everything's out against you and that you can't do anything. But that's not true. And I've also found in life too that the challenges I've had are actually, in the middle of them is a great big gold nugget. In the middle of them are things I need to do to keep moving forward. So life is full of challenges, and I don't care what color your skin is. And being African American, I have all kinds of stigmas that I have addictions that have stigmas. I have, you know, being incarcerated is a stigma. I have serious mental illness, which is a stigma, and I have all kinds of stigma, but I've still been able to succeed in my life and do things. And African American, whatever challenges come with some of those, you know, being African American in our society, I'm sure there are challenges. However, I know that in the middle of these challenges that we have, Whether for me it's been having a head injury and a mental illness and being locked up and addictions and everything. In the middle of all that has been my road to the success I have today. So, in all honesty, any challenges someone to face, they could fall back and be like, H no, I'm going to use this, I'm going to do what I want to do, and use that as somehow of a momentum or some kind of thing that would encourage them to do more because they felt that there were challenges. Like right now, I'm at the Harvard University Extension School. Well, I wanted to do that. I always wanted to go to Harvard ever before I went to law school, but I actually visited twice while I was at law school, the John F. Kennedy School of Government. It's been on my heart for a long, long time. So, I found a way that I can go remotely, and it's a lot easier to get into. I felt it is easier to get into, but it's not as easy as you could think it would be to get into. And anybody can try to get in the way I'm trying to get in if you have a bachelor's degree, or you can even go without a bachelor's degree. You just have to work your way in. And I'm here and I'm doing it, and it's been very challenging. I keep showing up, keep relying upon my faith, keep reaching out, asking for help from people, and I'm doing it. And anybody could do it. There's lots of African American people in my class that are doing it. So there ain't nothing holding anybody back but our minds. And if we allow people to hold us back, that's the problem. The ball's always in our court. I don't care. Challenges, there have been horrific challenges throughout time, and there have been for people that are African American with being slaves, yes, and other people, other challenges. Right now, with where we are, we have to take what life we have and we have to do what we can with it. And there's lots of things that we can do in America to realize our vision and to be happy and to have a very abundant life and to be able to achieve our purposes. And anyone, our government, would care more to have us all fighting with each other, whether over gender issues, race issues, whatever kind of issues, and would care more to have people think that they were victims and oppressed, just so that what really I think that we need to do is just to come together and empower one another. And I'm saying this because I've achieved things in my life, and people saying that people can't do this or that or this or that, and I have life experiences that we can do whatever we want to do when we put our mind to it. And I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. And that's my mindset, and that's the way I'm going. And I have plenty of challenges, and we all have plenty of challenges, but do not let anyone tell you that you're a victim. And if you accept it, then it's on you. And I don't say that in a bad way, I'm just saying it's a mindset. And you can, I'm not arguing with anybody, I'm living my life, and I'm not a victim. So I just wanted to leave that, and there's lots of other things I could say about lots of other things, but that's an important thing that I wanted to say today, and I'm going to keep coming back. And thank you for listening to me, and I'll leave another message, another podcast soon. Thank you.